Hello there, lords and ladies. I am the Mighty Gammon. Today we're going to look at how to give the entire Battlefront ligma using Emperor Palpatine and Obi Wan Kenobi. Let's begin. I use these star cards with Lord Sheev, and I'll tell you why. Increasing Palpatine's dark aura area of effect allows him to summon an even larger maelstrom of putrid to harass enemy heroes. With this AoE increase, he can fill an entire room with an unblockable miasma of moldy clouds, forcing enemies to either focus on you or run away to avoid being killed. Once their back is turned or they let down their guard to attack, you can stun them and unleash your sparkly fingers whilst they're still being swamped by liquid smog. This thick cloud of piss would make even 19th century London child factory workers run for cover. Palpatine is so powerful that not even the crack gremlin can... That's what I thought. Not even your heavy drug usage can protect your nose from my rectum fog, you green midget. His electrocute ability is very useful for preventing a Han player from blasting you in the face for a few seconds whilst you whittle his health down, or for preventing a Jedi from blocking. This gives you a few critical moments of respite for Palpatine to remember what's going on, because he has severe Alzheimer's, you see. The man went to get me groceries the other day but ended up throwing the food all over the floor, electrocuting the staff and bringing the empty trolley home. He also keeps trying to convince me that he is a Skywalker. I've already told him that everyone is a Skywalker according to Disney, but he just won't listen. His final ability is Chain Lightning. This move slaps your enemies with a rolling bolt of decent damage lightning that can jump between opponents. If you time this right on already weakened rebels, you can rack up several kills with one press of a button. The best part is most of the enemies may not even be in your sight. You just need one visible rebel to bounce the damage through. My wife left me, please send a therapist. Watch how this man's friend dies when I bounce lightning off him. Yeah! I use star cards which enhance Palpatine's regular lightning range and stamina. This allows him greater flexibility on angles and distance when firing at his enemies. Judging by the state of his 90-year-old bones, he needs all the flexibility he can get. Yeah! Yeah, perish! These cards also allow you to light rebel scum up for longer before having to inevitably shuffle away like a disabled Dementor. This character is pretty fast, so he can intercept people taking your points fairly easily whilst your teammates focus on holding the front lines, or, more commonly, stand around doing all in the arse end of nowhere whilst you get shot to by an AI sniper using aimbot. The Emperor is a fantastic support villain, drawing fire away from your teammates whilst you control the battlefront, using a smegma whirlpool and chained lightning strikes. Enemies will find it hard to track you as you spin around corners and electrocute them from behind, just like my uncle. Sheev is not afraid to slaughter a few teddy bears on his way to Primark to pick up his new Sith Eternal robe. This kind of conviction and dedication to high fashion can only be applauded, and honestly I wish this man nothing but success. For about 30 years until he's thrown down a shaft by a giant walking inhaler on steroids. You know who I also want to be successful? Me. So like the video and consider subscribing now. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, none of the advice I mentioned is relevant when you have an instant win button. Just dodge towards enemies constantly and you won't die. Who's going to hit a living corkscrew on speed, tearing through you whilst emitting an ear-piercing screech? Not me, that's for sure. As an Obi-Wan main, the cards I use are entirely focused on increasing his survivability. They buff his health regeneration, his stamina, and give him an additional stamina bonus that stacks when he blocks blasters and villain abilities. This of course means nothing because I'm awful with him. Hello there. His all-out push ability is useful for both crowd control and keeping threats at a distance. It works like Luke's force push, only it sacrifices a wide cone of effect for a much longer cucumber of effect. The main downside to this is the forced charge up time to use the push. However, the extra range does make up for it. You can push that absolute munter away from your mate in the club from a distance, instead of having to get within her gravitational pull. Against regular troopers, Obi-Wan completely wrecks. If they don't have an explosive sentry, then they're out of luck as you run their whole battalion down. The stamina star cards help you hold the line for your teammates. You can deflect the blasters of an entire army for years without breaking a sweat. You can actually read a book in one hand whilst deflecting a turbo laser barrage from orbit with the other. Combine this advantage with the high ground to become completely invincible. What was that noise? Combining his already great health regeneration with the health regen star card gives Obi-Wan some seriously beefy comeback potential. With almost no health left, he can heal over halfway by just removing himself from the fight. Do you know why he's so healthy? I'll give you a couple of seconds to answer. 1, 0. That's right. Because he's British, so he can actually afford healthcare. His restrictive mind trick can stop an enemy bionicle from activating its shield, or make an enemy villain entirely flaccid with no abilities, so your team can gun them down. This is especially useful against blaster heroes who rely on their abilities to keep you at a distance. No restraining order can keep me away from you now, Debbie. Bosk. Don't deflect my love tonight. Deflecting the blame for me. Deflection! His defensive rush is great for playing Ring Around the Rosie with enemy droids. It automatically blocks all blaster fire from the front, much like Grievous' unrelenting advance, only not a pile of molten shite. Wait. Whilst rushing, you are essentially invincible. Hell, run, Space Jesus, run! No, not again! Once the droids line up, a well-timed rush will cut them all down whilst protecting you and your teammates. Against all regular troops, this ability is devastating. If you aren't worried about his stamina, giving Obi-Wan the enhanced defensive rush damage star card can turn this move into an absolute bulldozer. He is one of the only heroes that can literally snipe people with the Force. Why bother putting yourself in harm's way if you can push people 30 meters away over and then run away until the ability recharges? Defensive rush makes helping your team kill enemies easy because you can close the distance quickly to cut off their limbs. He actually went easy on Anakin in Revenge of the Sith because Obi-Wan didn't use his rush. He just stood there and flexed how high he was until Youngling Slayer 66 went into a fit of jealous rage. He definitely would have sent Kenobi an angry Xbox Live message if he still had his arms.